Thank you very much for having me this great opportunity. I'm Hideyasu Shimadzu, data scientist, statistician background, and I had a great time yesterday talking about gestation, the terminology which I never used before, and just and also the kind of the relation gestation is somehow related to humans aspect, but let me tell you a slightly different aspect about gestation I've got the experience. And sounds a bit weird because I'm a statistician and dealing with data, how I rate it. I'm not the epidemiologist at all. The thing is, I collaborate with other discipline scientists quite a lot. I usually work with biologists and ecologists, that's the kind of people. And the kind of work I did was my colleague, biologist in St. Andrews, where I used to be, about the Daphne. So yeah, my preparation was quite bad, so I should have prepared slides in advance, but while I'm attending here, I thought maybe nice to show the pretty water-free creature. And it's quite transparent. And so basically my biology colleague, what he was interested in was, it's called life history in biology term. So basically how they grow over lifetime, how they produce life over time. And the tricky bit is, of course, Daphne is a little bit simple structure creature than us, but yeah, quite small, but they grow over time and they produce multiple times. But still, how you measure and how they grow, produce, depending on environment conditions, quite different. And what I work on is basically starting from how we collect the data, because without data I can't work on that. But again, always a data link. If you're interested in some certain phenomena, the data needs to reflect the reality as much as possible. If not, even if I try hard working on data, it doesn't tell you anything. And so it's a kind of recognition how you see the life pattern of that there. If you like, you can replace it as a human. But so the data, what I've got was basically the body size, how they grow, and how they produce when. Basically, the good thing about Daphne, they don't have any marriage problem. They can produce by themselves. But the tricky bit is, even though this quite easy to see the kind of skeleton things, but you can't really tell how many offsprings they're carrying because it's so tiny. So my colleague did is he checked every day down there and how many offsprings to produce. And depending on the temperature, how they grow, the growing speed is different. And normally warmer temperature, they grow fast, start producing early, but compared to the cooler temperature conditions. So this is just example Daphne, small ones. But animals, we are animals. We do this more or less the same thing. And the kind of the work I do is biodiversity related research. So basically, I'm interested in how the biodiversity changes over time and space. And these days, I'm quite sure you heard of biodiversity crisis and that kind of thing, because of the humans' activities and the climate change and these kind of things. So normally the people, how they measure biodiversity is kind of using the indices, basically. But these are pretty much a reflection of population size of what we are observing. And the population size, where that came from, basically gestation, so basically production. And historically, statistics, as I'm being told, but basically, if I'm correct, the statistics, that word, originated from the German language, that refers to the state, state of nation. So basically, the idea was understanding the population size, how they put the policy in place, or if they want to fight, they need to make sure they can have soldiers without data. Well, they can try, but it's a little bit danger. So these kind of things, and I thought, well, at the beginning, when I was invited this meeting, I might be a little bit a complete stranger, but while talking brilliant scholars here, I thought that's quite interesting. Gestation is quite interesting concept, and in a way, it can unify the kind of problem we are facing at the moment. And particularly, the tricky bit of gestation is not the wording, but how we can recognize it, or how we can see it. And actually, I've recently moved to Japan. Till actually September, I was working here, Lambda, and I moved back to Japan 2 months ago. And perhaps some of you quite familiar with how the commuting or train system in Tokyo, and probably this kind of picture you saw on the newspaper or BBC or something like that. And yes, unfortunately, I went back this kind of situation a little bit. But this time I find it quite interesting back turn. Like I saw quite a lot this type of turn. And guess what this means? When I was a kid and living in Japan, we didn't have this kind of thing. And just noticed that many people sometimes telling, actually, this was for people who need help or expected mother. And why they created this kind of sign, because it's very hard to see whether they need help or expected mother or not. And that made me quite interesting, because yesterday we had a discussion. Well, of course, I'm a data-oriented person, so how we measure the gestation period, or even that was a difficult one. And so if you have this one, or of course you have freedom to decide whether you want to put on your bag or not, but this is a kind of way highlighting that the concept itself, like even period, gestation period, it's quite difficult to visualize it. And how we going to visualize it and how we can recognize it is a kind of challenge, but also that unifies a lot of interesting ideas and related history. I don't know back in old days how they tell you these kind of things or not, or pay attention or not. But again, once it's recognized, that can be recorded and it can be a data. And from statistician's point of view, once it's recorded, we can analyze it and then see what we can, or what happened. Or the good about statistics is not only looking back the past, but we can make an inference based on data that maybe we can look for the future and think about it, what we can do. And it's a kind of metaphor now, but because I don't have a data for this station here, but I'm quite excited being part of this discussion and how people think about gestation in general. And my impression was it can be a kind of unified theme and open up the kind of questions quite a lot for the better future. So I'm very much interested in how people think about these kinds of things and the discussion.
Thank you.